I can't imagine at USD that they would do that. Some other fraternity has a gold bronze hanging on their wall already.
You went to, and we still pay outside counsel.
He did. He went for law.
No, he went to the hearing for.
All right, I have 7 o'clock. We call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Teresa, please take the roll.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Bowen.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Jass.
Yes.
And Horn is absent with notice.
All right, do we have any additions or action on the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
How about action on the minutes from the 12/17 meeting? Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Any bills?
No bills.
All right, public comments. Anything that's not on the agenda, I'm assuming some of you are here to talk about something. Limit your comments to 5 minutes. Come up to the podium when you're ready, give your name and address so they can get you in the roll. You want to start, Rick?
No.
Yep. Go ahead and say who you are so Karen can get you to the...
Okay, my name is Rick Peterson. I live at 303 North Vandermark.
Thanks for being here, Rick.
You bet. I guess I want to talk about that SRF loan, the second one, guys. I feel that we didn't get, as a person of the city, I didn't get any kind of a notification. I guess you guys put it in your minutes and stuff, but a lot of people don't read your minutes every month. So I don't know how, I talked to one person, he said, well, it costs money to put a stamp on there. Well, there's all kinds of media out there. If you let the public know that this was coming up, it wouldn't have been such a sticker shock to a lot of people. I wonder why, did the city get like a 1% emergency loan from the state to help on this, or?
We got a $9-point-some million grant early on in this process on our wastewater treatment plant.
Good. Is there any other options that we have for this to help kind of soften the bills for us on this?
$9.1 million. That originally, that surcharge is gonna be closer to $75 a month.
And
I think it's $75 a month. You're probably gonna have a lot of people that probably wouldn't be living in Hartford anymore. I don't know, you got some of these people that even this $50 a month is higher than what they're paying for their water bill and their sewer bill to pay for this loan. And a lot of them just aren't, I don't think are making it, so, or it's really, really tight. Did you guys talk to anybody like Crooks, Lyons, Colton, Humboldt, and tying into this?
we're in the process of that. We also, on top of us building, so there's 2 separate deals. Hartford's building the plant, City of Hartford's building the plant. We also received a $23 million federal grant through Senator Thune's office for regionalization. So
We didn't.
we didn't.
Southeast or this part of the county?
Excuse me, Western Minnehaha County did. It wasn't to Hartford.
I've got the
I say we
$23
because I've been in the middle, sorry.
Yeah.
I've been in the middle of it, so I don't mean to say that it's us, but, so we received a grant through the feds, we meaning Western Minnehaha County. The plan is to hook a pipe from Crooks to Hartford on to Lyons and Colton maybe Humboldt. When we asked Humboldt originally, that would have been us,
That was us, yeah.
to hook on with us. Humboldt declined to hook on with us.
Now, if these other ones hook on, is that gonna soften the blow for us? Are we gonna see
Yeah,
a lesser amount?
theoretically and eventually, I will say.
It
I
won't
know,
change
I know
it.
that some of the people in Crooks were talking about this and they're discussing this.
Yep.
Like you guys are right now.
Yep,
And, they're coming up at a selling point at $17 per household. How can they get by with $17 per household? You know, and I'm saying this is hearsay.
yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. And if they're getting by with $17 and we're paying 49, that don't come out in the wash.
Well, I don't know. I would be surprised if they're far enough down the workings of this deal to know what they'd be exactly for a dollar. That'd be my guess. I mean, we don't have a pipe in the ground. I mean, we have a
Right,
design
right,
and we
right,
got,
right.
you can imagine when you're dealing with the feds. I had a gentleman tell me, be careful what you wish for, because the stack of paperwork that goes along with this deal is about this tall. So, we're at probably step 50 out of 5,000, you know.
Okay, just gonna go up again in the next couple of years?
Well, I sure hope not.
I hope not either.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
There's no current
The
plan
plan-
that would require.
Yeah.
This surcharge
Okay, it's
will,
like you got, did you guys know like a couple of years ago when you started this, that there was gonna be another boost in this, or? 'Cause you got the TV program that, or the TV, what do I wanna say? They did that big deal on the water treatment plant and everything, saying it was a $22 million plant, $20 million plant.
Yes.
But now it seems like it's more,
No, I
and
think,
we're paying more.
no, it was 22 million, and that included the second surcharge that we knew we were gonna have to, that was gonna be put on.
Can I add something
Yep,
in here?
go ahead.
So,
Sure.
and I came on the council a year and a half ago, and actually like my second meeting is when we voted to build this thing, so I can, some of these guys have been on, I know you've been here for 4 or 5 years. But,
Quite three.
sorry, oh, sorry, hey,
It's all right.
you're experienced, so that was a
I
compliment.
like to get that.
I went back and I seen the years that you guys.
Yeah, there's a
You
whole
guys have
history.
got into this.
There's a whole
10
history, but
years.
I wanna focus specifically on this second surcharge.
Okay,
And I would love if our city engineer, please correct me, or Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a little outspoken. But there was something that was not written correctly. There was something of why we essentially didn't write it correct enough with the correct amount, so we had to implement a second surcharge, right? What was I mean, this is going back like a year ago, but there was,
No, so the original, the
maybe I'm
first
thinking of the
surcharge,
I'm thinking of the contract with the
the
CMAR
first
maybe.
loan
Yeah.
we got, the first SRF loan we got, we were going off the engineer estimates. Well, that was like right around 17 million, correct?
Correct.
That is when we got the $9
million.
million grant, and then the rest was in a SRF loan, and that was that first $26 surcharge. Then we started the process, we brought a CMR, a construction manager at risk, on board. We actually then started getting cost estimates, I mean, actual, contacting contractors, getting actual prices on everything. This all happened during COVID, and when the supply, all the prices went up and the supply chain, went into effect. So basically, a lot of our materials went way up. And so it went from the 17 million, and to tell you the truth, it went to almost 27 million.
Pretty
And
much
then we started
almost
working with them to
double.
cut back the project, and
Yeah.
that's how we got down into the basically 23 million and some odd change with we are at now. But the difference between the 17 million and when we got, our CMR on track, and we actually got bids and prices on stuff, that's this second surcharge loan,
Can you
because we were
explain,
short.
For anybody who's interested, the SRF loan and the requirements of that, like the program it comes from, why we take an SRF loan, and then
Yeah.
why we have to assign that?
So surcharges, Hartford is not, it's not uncommon, every city around us has surcharges. And they're mainly from SRF loans, when they do water or wastewater projects,
Yep.
big projects that take a lot of money that smaller towns don't have in our capital outlay. We go through the state, Danner, and we basically put in an application and apply for an SRF loan, a state revolving fund loan through it.
I used to
Those
work
loans
for
are, oh,
Used to work for the DOT, and
yeah.
I
so you can-
understand a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, so you know how it works.
So, yeah, I know
So-
those.
That is usually our best avenue, for any city's avenue, that's why a lot of them do it, is because they have basically lower interest rates than what you can go out and get a bank loan, or any other type of loan. And the payback period is a longer period of time. When you do get an SRF loan and you go through that process, the state will see how much you're charging for rates, and they'll see basically what your operating and maintenance and what your revenue is in your fund. And in order for them to guarantee that we're gonna be able to pay it back, they make sure that our rate structure is high enough. And if it isn't, that's when they say, condition of getting the loan is you have to put this surcharge on. Because basically, that surcharge is going to pay our payments for the SRF loan.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yep.
Okay, just if, on closing, I guess, if there's anything else you guys can do to work on that a little bit better, me as a resident of the city, I'd love to see it.
We would too.
And I know there's a lot of other people who probably would.
We're in the plant was built for Hartford, but it put us in a position for more industry, more development,
Yeah.
and to allow the expansion for some of these other communities, which is that grant that they
Right.
have access to.
Right.
But we're in a weird position in that we can't take that money.
Right.
But what we can do is, what we believe, if regionalization happens, is that we can recoup
Yeah, we'll start.
some money that
yeah.
could repay
Yeah.
the loan quicker.
Right, and whether that just takes the surcharge off sooner, or maybe reduces the surcharge, we haven't had that discussion
we-
yet, but I do think that there is hopefully some opportunity in the future to either bring that down or reduce the amount of time we have to make that payment.
I guess if you're gonna do anything like that in the future and stuff, if there's a possible way with the internet and everything else, if you can you got the Hartford happenings, and I went in there, all I did was basically, everybody in here probably seen my little deal in there, all I did was I just quoted from the letter that we got. Basically, I didn't say anything false.
No,
I didn't want to be anything meaning.
Nope.
Being meaningful or anything like that. I just wanted to see if anybody that didn't see it yet could do that. Man, that exploded.
I did,
oh, we knew that.
do that.
It exploded. I mean, and
I did notice on that Colton bill that somebody posted, they have $62 worth of loan, SRF and other loan charges.
yeah, I did see on some of them other cities, the water, what they're paying for water sewer, and yeah, I got tons of stuff like that, so.
Yeah. Harrisburg's it's huge. Their sewer is 90, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so,
We did hold a public forum
yes.
at the school, was that about a
I
year
guess
ago?
I didn't see anything on it.
Yeah.
Got a card, sent to everybody, a letter on that
We
one.
sent a letter to
Yeah,
every
we did
resident
hold
as well on that
Public
one.
forum to educate everybody and try to get feedback from the community and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, I'll
I
be watching.
definitely hear what you're saying and that it blindsided
Yeah,
me, but
yeah.
I do feel that we did attempt to notify citizens and get feedback and.
I don't know how much you guys use your little bulletin board out here on the corner, but. You guys
Occasionally.
do any advertising on that things coming up?
The community meeting was on there, I know, that was on there for sure.
Most of that like that. Just coming in town, go right by that.
Can't put a lot of information on, because
Yeah.
people aren't sitting at the intersection.
Well, we
all the
appreciate,
time, but-
really, we appreciate you coming in. And
Okay.
actually, your comment was pretty good when that thing started, and then it kind of went off the rails a little bit, let's
As
just
the
say.
internet does.
But,
Yeah.
we appreciate the
I
fact
mean,
that,
that was those guys out there.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
That's
Yeah.
not me. I mean,
Yeah.
that was, all I did was I just stated that what was on the letter that I received, and
Yep.
I'm assuming
No.
everybody in town got the same letter.
yep.
So.
Since you're right across from the pool, come over and come swimming with us next
There you
summer.
go. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
All right, anybody else want to, address this topic? If not, we'll continue and move forward. Thank you, Rick. Thank you all for being here and listening to that. We'll move down to applications, agreements, hearings, resolutions. The 705 hearing is regarding garbage license renewals. It's in your packet. They've all sent in the proper paperwork and proved that they have insurance and all of that. Marked as approved by the staff.
Do we have to approve individually or as a group?
Can we,
You can do a group if you want,
yep.
unless there's one you don't want to approve.
It's like page 6 if you're looking for it in your,
If we've had any issues, I haven't heard of them, with any of them.
No.
I'd make a motion to approve all 6. It says garage, but it's
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah. I
Threw me off
know,
for the right there.
too.
do we have to start keeping track, Teresa? It's early in the
I do.
year.
I would second that.
If you read further down, it says there's 5 current licenses.
Oh, and 1 new.
Well, actually, they were all,
Oh, they were all
Last year.
all renewals. Okay.
Construction trash came mid-year, though.
Mid-
They
Okay.
weren't with the previous renewals.
Cindy, you made a motion. Did somebody second or did I miss it?
seconded.
And Sean seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barron's?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Okay, next up, first reading of Ordinance 759. This is a supplemental appropriation for 2024. Teresa, you want to give a little background?
So, as we do at the end of every year, you know, as we get to the end of the year, we look at our budget and seeing if there's anything that we've gone over budget on. We look at all our line items. If there are things that we happen to go over budget on, whether it was an unexpected cost or it was something that we added to the budget by council, whatever the case may be, or we just didn't budget enough money, we have to correct our budget, you know, per the state. So you either have to do a supplemental appropriation, which basically will add more fund into our budget. And this is not moving around any money whatsoever. It's just changing the budget number amount. So we're not spending more funds, we're not moving funds. It is just changing our budget number. So it's just correcting our budget.
We've already voted. to
We've
spend
already
those.
voted to spend the money, yes. This is just correcting our budget number, which shows up on our reports. So like I said, if we're short some, we have to correct our budget number for this. You have to do a supplemental appropriation if you go over in the general fund, you don't have enough contingency to cover that, or if you go over budget on any water fund or any of the other project funds. So like I said, this is just correcting our budget number on things that we happen to have gone over budget on. It does not move around or spend any money.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 759 for supplemental appropriation for 2024.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
All the work down here.
Was just this, the wastewater treatment facility fund, the sewer expense there, is that just, that came early, or?
We just, when we budget, we just didn't budget enough funds in it. We put in there approximately what we thought we were going to expend this year, and we spent over.
I know it
You saw
doesn't
the
change the
payouts,
overall.
yeah.
I know it doesn't change the overall cost of the project by any
Right.
means, I just didn't know, okay.
Could you say the project's running ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what I
oh,
was
and I
gonna
think so
say.
too. I think we expended, got a lot more done this
Yeah.
past year than what we thought we were gonna
It was
get
a good
done.
year for construction,
So-
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it does not change the overall budget of the
Right.
project.
Thank you, that's all my questions.
All right, anything else? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barron's?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Next up, Resolution 2025-1, contingency transfer.
This is very similar to the supplemental appropriation. When we budget, there's always $50,000 in the general fund that, it's called a contingency fund, that if we have small shortfalls in our general fund, not in any other funds, we can transfer that, part of that $50,000 into the other, whether it be streets or public buildings or whatnot, wherever we're getting that shortfall, if there's smaller amounts to cover it. So, once again, no spending money, no transferring money, it is just basically correcting the budget numbers, taking that line item out of the contingency fund and putting it into other portions of the general fund.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-1, contingency transfer for 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Last one under this group is review, approve DOT maintenance agreement for the exit 387 bridge project. Did we get the wording that we were,
Well,
We got the explanation.
we got the explanation, yeah.
okay,
So this is the maintenance agreement for the new interchange on Western.
right,
And the city's portion of that will be bid out at the same time as the state's.
right,
The state will collect all the bids, they'll open the bids, review the bids. And so we did have a couple of items to clarify with the state on the maintenance agreement that they sent. It will be the city's responsibility to maintain the shared pathway, which is a 10-foot path on the east side of the overpass. And then there'll be a sidewalk, a 5-foot sidewalk on the west side. So those will both be city's responsibility for snow removal, routine maintenance, those sorts of things. If there were to be a replacement of the path, the state would be responsible if it's a major reconstruction of it. Again, that's only gonna happen if the bridge
gets
is
rammed
getting
into
replaced,
again.
so the likelihood of that is many, many years down the road, so.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully many years down the road. The city is required to indemnify the state for any claims that might be made for citizens for damage if they are injured or somehow there's a problem in the pathway or sidewalk due to maintenance issues. If the state's brought into any claim for injuries on that, the city would have to indemnify them since it's the city's responsibility to maintain that even though it's in the state right of way. Which would be standard when the city takes on the obligation for maintaining, they would have the liability that goes with that. One thing on the bid letting that I want to make sure you're aware of is the project will be bid as a combination bid. It'll be state portion will be bid separately from the cities. They'll take the low combined bid on that particular project. So it's not necessarily the low state bid or the low city bid, it's the low combination bid. If the city's share of that is, well, if the combination bid has a lower state bid, if there's a lower state bid on another project or another bidder, the city would have to make up that difference. So it's a $20 million project, ballpark. And the 15 is the state's, 5 is the city's.
Yep.
If the combination bid was that 20 million, but it came in that the state's part was 14, for example, the state could come back and ask the city to bump another million into that.
Does that work vice versa?
No,
No, of course not.
unfortunately, no. They obviously will, and Teresa's had this conversation with the DOT is, you know, we don't have budget funds available to do that.
Right,
So their agreement is they will come back to the city if they come in with some problem with the bidding that results in the city having to pay the state, for example. They would have to come back to the city before awarding that bid.
okay.
Because it's above our estimate and
We have an out.
and available
Based.
funds.
Yes.
We have an out.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically, Harry Johnson with the DOT, he's the one who sent out this agreement, and we discussed that, because that was the part that we were concerned with this maintenance agreement, is that portion there is like, okay, we can't predict what bidders, you know, how the bids will come in, and say if there's a big discrepancy between, you know, what the combination low bid is, and then there's another bid that bids the state portion really low, you know, we could end up paying a lot of money if we gotta pay that difference. I says, we only got so much budget amount, you know, we don't have any other funding to go above that. My concern is if we go over budget. He has said that once bids come in, the city will be contacted, we will get a review of those bids, and if there's a large discrepancy, we have the choice of not awarding the bids, or, you know, there's different things we can do before those bids are awarded. So we will be contacted, we will be involved in that process. He says it from, this language is required by the feds, basically, to put in it, so we can't take it out. But he says we will be contacted and be part of that bid process before it's awarded. He's told me this has only happened one other time, and I think he said, like, it was like a $3,000 difference or something, so it wasn't a huge amount, so.
Do we
But
need to
you
get
never know,
that?
and that's just it, we can't
Do
control.
we need to get that in writing from them?
Well, I don't know if you sent an email or just telephone call. Yeah, he
Yeah,
sent us an email, the city will be contacted.
Yep,
with respect to
yeah,
the
and we
bid.
have that in writing from
Okay.
him. I do have that in
I
writing.
just wanna make
But
sure.
realistically, for us to bid out a project like that on our own.
Right.
Right. You know, we did it in conjunction because
It's gonna,
you'll probably
we're
get
hoping that
better
it's gonna
bids
be
that
better,
way
right.
or whatnot, you know. Like I said, I can't see that, you know, anybody who bids on it, they're gonna be bidding quantity amounts, they're gonna keep it very much kind of in line, the state's portion and the city's portion. So I can't see it getting way out of whack between the two, but
Right.
like I said, we will be contacted before any bids are awarded, so, and they do understand we have a budget constraint, so.
Just some little additional comments too. I think it was a great point Teresa made that it happened once in Harry's time because we were kind of racking our brain on trying to determine, you know,
Yeah.
the worst case scenario, as we were concerned about it too. But the
Right.
intention on bidding with the DOT is to have that efficiency of the same contractor and try to get all that work done at one time. If they were two completely separate projects, two completely separate contractors, it would be challenging. So
Right.
that's some of the efficiencies that we're working towards.
I don't know on the, so is there, like the ones in Sioux Falls, is there those, whatever you call them? I'm gonna call them guardrails or,
Caged all.
yeah,
So there's gonna be between the road, because I asked him this specific question too, because I really wasn't sure either. Between the roadway and each of the paths, the sidewalk and the bike trail and whatnot, there'll be a little dividing wall on the roadway. And then there will be, like I said, the
Over,
the
okay.
fencing, the cages on the very outside of the bridge as well,
right,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
No jumping.
Well, I wasn't so worried about that. People throw, you know, somebody throws something over.
Right, yep, so that's, yeah, he said they'll have that as well.
The one
And-
tilt that is in your favor,
Yeah,
they did put in the mobilization. If it exceeds basically 10% of the engineer's estimate for the total city project, if the city's portion of mobilization exceeds that, the state will reimburse the city for that particular item.
Yeah.
that's nice.
The engineer's estimate, I think, was 300 and,
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
was 348, and if it exceeds, that's 540-some thousand. But you never know how, where contractors load up their particular items, but that is one that the state would reimburse the city if it comes up over $542,000.
So in your review, Tom, you're okay with,
Yeah,
okay.
So the sidewalk on the outside will go to just the ditch, or?
The sidewalk, it'll go all the way from Jeffrey Street, so the road going into Brower's Addition.
Oh, it will.
It'll go from there all the way up to Mickelson Road then, because the state will put it in to Diamond Trail, we'll put it in to
Excellent.
Mickelson Road. Both the
I
bike
pictured it
path and
somehow
the
just like
sidewalk.
ending at a ditch on the
So then
on the
people
road
will
there.
go out, be able to ride their bikes out and ride around and,
Yeah. So, in essence, we are responsible for that whole length that and that is in city limits, very similar to the path that goes out to Hartford Heights.
right.
We clear it off, we mow the sides of it, I mean, we will have to take care of it. The other kind of part of this agreement is the lighting too as well. The lights that they put through, they'll do all the initial putting in, you know, the expense of that or whatnot. But like, similar with Highway 38, we gotta then, the maintenance, if they go out, we're responsible for
And pay for
replacing
them.
And we
them,
pay the power.
fixing them, and yeah, and then we pay the power for them, yeah.
Right.
So, same thing along Highway 38 that goes through town, so.
Will they be
We
purple
get all
or
that
white?
too, yeah, yeah. We get the nice amenities, but we gotta pay for it.
All right,
That's what happens when you use cheap diode LEDs.
Purple?
Yeah, they lose their phosphor.
all right, action from the council on this.
You are recommending, everybody's recommending we're approving. I make a motion to approve DOT maintenance agreement.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
All right, thank you. We'll move down to reports. We have our new deputy here tonight, Jonah. First night at the podium,
Say Deputy Rechtenbaugh.
Jonah Rechtenbaugh.
I'll just start with an introduction. I'm Jonah Rechtenbaugh. Damien took a spot with our civils division, so I'm the new Hartford deputy. So graduated here at West Central in 2016, so happy to be back in this community. Total calls for service included deputy initiated calls was 178. This was a decrease of 11, 6.8 calls for service per day in 26 days. Saw 5 accidents, which was an increase of 1. 1 had an injury, which was an increase of 1. Without injury were 4, which stayed the same. There were 3 assaults, same. Sex offenses, there were 0, which was the same as last month. DWIs, there were 4, which was an increase of 2. Suicide threat and attempts, there was 0, which was a decrease of 3. Check well-beings, there was 2, decrease of 5. Burglaries, 0, that stayed the same. Unattended deaths, there was 1, which was an increase of 1. Disorderly subjects, 4, increase of 1. Suspicious person and activity, 5, decrease of 2. Assist other agencies, 0, decrease of 1. Public assist, 4, increase of 1. Animal problems, 5, increase of 2. There were no vandalisms, no missing persons or runaways. There were 78 traffic complaints, which was an increase of 8. 2 parking complaints, which stayed the same. 1 motorist assist, decrease of 2. 1 theft, which stayed the same. Narcotics, drug offenses, there was 1, which was a decrease of 3. Intoxicated persons or liquor law violations, there were 3, which was a decrease of 7. Fraud, forgery, identity thefts, there was 1, which was a decrease of 2. Juvenile delinquents, there were 6, increase of 1. Noise complaints, there were 0, 0 fireworks violations. Sheriff's Office landlines, there were 11, which was a decrease of 3. No found or missing properties, that was a decrease of 1. Civil processes, there were 8, decrease of 13. There was 1 warrant service, which was a decrease of 1. 15 case reports, there were 16 case reports last month, and then there were 8 arrests.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions before he sits down or runs out?
It's running away.
When did you start, Jonah?
I started Monday. Yep.
Well, that's good, and I'm sure Teresa has your number.
Yep.
And she sent it out to our
Oh,
email.
I said, you
We
guys,
have-
you do
Yeah,
too.
we have.
We got it?
have
Okay.
too. It's 911.
Well, that's easy enough.
Well, welcome, Jonah.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you.
You bet.
Enjoy the daytime off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to this bright thing that's in the sky.
Oh, have you been working nights all?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was out in Pier for 2 years, so that was.
Okay.
We rotated there, which has its perks and its
yeah,
pros and cons there. So.
yeah. Well, I think it's kind of nice we have all these guys that are West Central grads that hang around here, so that's good.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, now we'll move to what I like to call the most exciting part of the evening,
Never get the
city engineer report.
Good evening, everyone. Just a general update since last time on the slurry seal. I got that submitted to the city of Sioux Falls, so they're working on compiling those with the other cities, and we'll bid that later this spring. Once that bids, I'll be sure to update the council on how those bids are received. Moving on to project updates. A bit slower on the water resource recovery facility, as it was just the holiday season. But they continue to work within the operations building. That's where most of the progress is being made, with the mechanical, electrical, and then drywall is almost complete there. Moving on to the Highway 38 water main extension, that project is complete aside from seeding. So that water main was wrapped up a few weeks ago. It is live, has been tested, bacteria and pressure test passed. So it's ready to go for the development that is going to be starting construction later this spring. So, and then Western Avenue, just to provide an update, the state's moving along with their bidding process. Tentatively looking at a February bid, but we'll be reaching out to the state just to ensure we get a finalized bid date so we can review those bids once they come in.
There was an easement issue, did they get that?
I was gonna say, so when I talked with Harry at the DOT, they have it on their schedule to bid February 19th. They are still trying to acquire some right-of-way easement from
Yeah.
the southwest corner. He says their office is really working hard on it. So he's open to still have it so they can bid
Right.
February 19th. They're pursuing it pretty hard right now. If they do not get it, worst case scenario, they will go in and basically condemn it, and then we will be on a March 5th. So push it back a couple weeks, we'll be on a March 5th.
We're just gonna come in and get the first section of sewer line put in to the manhole across
Okay.
to the north. And
Yep.
then they're gonna wait till Windsor Group gets the dirt moved so that they're not digging through hills and stuff like that.
Okay.
So have all this digging.
Okay,
So they
but
plan
they're
to-
done under the road, right?
No.
Oh, they
No,
not?
they have not got
Okay.
the boring done.
Okay.
That boring crew was supposed to be in this week, but they haven't seen them yet. so.
Okay. All right, Michael, you said you had a couple action items?
Yes, so the first is change order 3 on the Highway 38 water main project. This is in the amount of $2,803.30. And this is for a water main extension on the north end near Colton Road and 2nd Street. When they went to put in that bore, encountered utility lines deeper than anticipated, so they had to lower that bore, and in turn, water main lowered and hydrant as well. So just extending that to get it to the correct elevation.
So the change is to add the riser, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Motion to approve change order number 3 to Site Works for $2,803.30.
Second.
any more discussion on that one? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barron's?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
All right, Michael, next.
Yep. Also on the Highway 38 water main project is pay application number 3 in the amount of $260,708.91. As I mentioned, the water main is complete. We are holding retainage for seeding just to help ensure that that gets done in the spring. And then that is the only remaining bid item as well. So the project's almost bid out, but just that little bit of scope remaining.
Also worthwhile to note, we are anticipating to be under that original contract price too. So even though we did have some change orders, I anticipated to come under that project did come in under engineer's estimate, I believe, to what we did it, so.
Oh, that's good.
Make a motion to approve pay request number 3 to Site Works for $260,708.91.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barron's?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Last one, Michael?
Yep, last one is pay application number 15 to Rice Lake for the water resource recovery facility. This is in the amount of $506,541.00, mainly for equipment and materials and plumbing within the operations building over the past month.
Motion to approve pay request 15 for $506,541.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barons? Jazz?
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Justin, you wanna add anything, or you just,
I don't have anything additional, just look for any additional flavor text on the good performing projects, and if you guys have any questions.
okay. I gotta give you a little crap.
Wouldn't miss seeing you tonight, Art.
I know it. All right, next up, we will move to Public Works Superintendent Craig Wagner.
Just a few things on my report that updated, whatever, equipment, we did bring the flatbed in to take the old tank off as we purchased a different tank this last fall. So we're getting that mounted up now, doing that ourselves in the shop. Drainage ditch, just something to add on that, that the bridge down here, the old bridge on North Main, on the east side there, that wall came in on that over sometime this summer or something. I do have a contractor coming in to pull that back in, just leaning it up against it. I've been working with Justin on this and working with FEMA to make sure we're in the means of getting it, doing it right and everything like that. So we'll be getting that taken care of. It's way too big for our backhoe, so we're gonna have to have an excavator come in there and tip that back up. So we'll be
Is that a
getting
part of the bridge, or it is?
Yeah, the
Does
side
that hurt
walls.
the integrity of the?
It's that old bridge at.
Oh, the
There's
old
no
bridge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind,
So
okay, down.
It's east of
Right,
Main
gotcha,
Street.
gotcha.
It just has the pillars basically
Yep.
that are
Yep, they-
standing there.
Okay,
Two
yep,
sidewalls
gotcha.
came in on that, so we'll be getting those just pulled back in.
Not the
just
bridge on
against the
Main.
bank to keep it from washing
Right.
out.
No. Man, I
Paid
thought,
somebody to inspect that.
yikes.
Yeah, you think, yeah, we never.
Just did the inspection, I thought if that baby's bad, we're in trouble.
That'd be bad.
Sewer, lift station, we did get the bar screen up and running, we're gonna be putting that lift gate back in, tomorrow. We had to take that out when the bar screen quit, just to keep the back pressure on that water, that sewer line there during the high waters. So we, of course, the gate itself wouldn't slide out, we had to reach down underneath and unbolt it, so we'll be putting that back in tomorrow, getting that taken care of. And then, we also had a furnace issue down there, a couple of parts, and then we got that fixed. Did that ourselves too, we got that fixed the other day or today. Street lights, I guess I'll go back up to that. So we've been working with Harry with DOT on Highway 38 lights down at Colton Road, which we talked about quite a while ago. I finally got a hold of them again last week. They got the poles, they're working on fixtures. I told them that I would just soon have the same fixtures as we have up here, so that we can just keep one on hand or two on hand, so we don't, if we have one go down. Because with that, we have an agreement with Sioux Valley that they will do the maintenance for them and take care of them. Otherwise, we had to hire an outside contractor to come in and do the work on them. So as long as we keep a fixture on hand, Sioux Valley will take care of the lights for us. So I'm working with Harry to make sure we get out the same fixtures, so I sent him over the information on that, so we get that. They're hoping to go out for bids on it within a few weeks, get some pricing on it. If the prices come in low enough and he's got money in this year's budget, he's gonna get them done this spring. If they come in too high, then he's gotta wait till July to get the project done. That's when their new fiscal period comes up, so hopefully we'll get something this spring. If not, it'll be July. So, but I'll keep in touch with him to see what it's going like. So that's pretty much all that's changed in my report. Sports complex is coming along good. Hopefully plumbers will be done. Hopefully end of the week, we'll have that done, so we can go in and finish up our stuff that we have to get done. We'll be out of there. And that's all I got, unless somebody has something for me.
Well, I think you had shared the reshaping of the ditch north of ATS in your report a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Did that ever, I assume that's been completed?
They got it done, they haven't got it seeded or anything like that and get black dirt in there, so that'll be, we've got money held back on that too for that project, so.
Been reshaped. Will there be any sidewalk going in there along those existing businesses?
If they're building in prior to having that, to put the sidewalk in, so if they wanna put it in, that's up to them. I mean, or if we would sometime go down the road of mandatory sidewalks.
Got it.
The sidewalks that are there, as well, it's gonna be there until the building gets built and then.
Right, right. So there's nothing retroactive to the existing businesses? Correct. Got it. Okay. So that mayor's initiative. for
It is in that
2025.
mayor's initiative, yeah.
Yeah, I thought if there was a new road, like, so 12th Street's, you're talking like, for example, like ATS, putting a sidewalk
Right.
on the north side there. I thought, so we put in 12th Street, right? Is it 12th Street?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a new road. So, I guess there'll be a sidewalk on the north side of that, for sure, right?
Yeah, like, because the pond was an improvement,
The
you'll see
pond-
that
the ponds,
HADS property has sidewalk along it.
Right.
The project, when we did like up on Vandemark and that, where we put that in, that was an actual city project where we brought it in as a city project. This was not, this kind of was a city project,
Yeah.
but it's kind of developer
Yeah.
project too, so.
Okay.
So it'll be up
Gotcha.
to responsibility of the landowners, business owners, wherever, when they build, to put the sidewalks in.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Craig?
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Next, we'll go to Finance Officer Karen.
Yeah, my report's in the packet. Don't really have anything to add. I do have an election item to set the election date for this year's elections. We're gonna have 5 open seats.
Wow.
Who's all open?
Mayor Jones, Councilman Horn, Barron's, Bowen, and Jazz. And Lisa's seat is a 1-year term. Everyone else's is a 2.
So can you say that for everybody listening at home? There's a lot of opportunity to sit here and
A lot of opportunity to
put
get on the city
your
council.
fingers to work on city government instead of on Facebook.
And normally the city holds it on the second Tuesday in April, which would be April 8th. Other options, as set by the state, is the first Tuesday in June, or we combine with the school district on the 3rd Tuesday in June.
I would be interested to have some further discussion, because when I ran almost 2 years ago, and it's pretty typical, but I think there was probably, in my ward, I can't remember if I'm Ward 2 or Ward 3.
2.
You're
2. We had about 85 people show up to vote. So on that ward, maybe that might have been, 7 to 8% turnout. So there's really low turnout, and it's not just in Hartford, it's nationally. It's nationally on municipal elections, just really low turnout for school board and all that, but would it be a bad idea to consider combining it with the school board election? But then that changes the term, then that, that's like months away, so that changes.
Well, we talked about this at one
Okay.
time, about a couple of years ago, maybe not quite that. We talked about that possibility. So the school board, they always have theirs in June,
Yeah.
because that's when their fiscal year goes from July or whatnot. Kind of, we'd have to change our ordinance, because we do
Yeah.
have our set, we will do the April election.
Yeah.
That's not really a big deal. But probably the drawback, I feel the biggest drawback of doing that is that, okay, so we elect somebody in June, they start July 1st, they're already then new people trying to vote on a budget a month after getting
Without
in,
knowing
not
what's
really
going on.
familiar
Yeah.
with.
It's part of the
Sure.
council anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with
Yeah.
that.
We-
Yep.
And, I feel, if you give them a little more time, budget's as you guys know, a big deal.
Yes.
So, getting them in place in May versus July gives them more time to get acclimated with the city and how it's run and how the various projects, what we got going on. And I think they're in a better position
I
to
agree
actually
with
vote
that.
on that budget. So, that's kind of the biggest thing I remember of this
Yeah.
discussion and my biggest takeaway or my biggest thought on it.
And if it's important to people, they'll get out and vote in April. That's
Right.
just the
Sure,
reality.
that's just it. And
So, that's a good point. Thank you, Teresa. Yep.
So we need to take action to approve that for an April 8th?
Yes.
All right.
Motion to set the April 8th, 2025 as the date for the municipal election.
Second.
Any more discussion? Travis said, plenty of opportunities. We'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
5 is, that's the big number.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we've had that many
You
open
can start
spots.
circulating petitions then on January 31st and be due back in the office by February 28th.
Okay,
Seniors, is the senior center gonna be big enough, you suppose,
for all the people?
for all the people?
Well, we've had one election in 4, 5, 6
Oh,
years.
boy, long time.
Yeah.
There you
that's
go.
just the last-
Could be the year,
talk about that.
could be the year.
This could be the year.
Trump train's coming to
Yep.
town.
Choo choo.
So what have we done in the past to advertise that these are open?
It'll be in,
So we're mandated by the state to put
Yeah.
out several notices.
Right.
Goes in our public, our newspaper twice, 2 consecutive weeks. Put it on our website.
goes in our
Newsletter.
newsletter.
Yep.
Is there gonna be anything on social media? That seems to be the hot button.
City, put it on the city site.
We can put it on our city's Facebook, not.
Yeah.
Postcards,
Yeah.
so return address, labels, I don't know. Get a sign for this
Facebook would probably be a better one.
Yeah.
Marquee.
marquee, we gotta use the marquee.
Do that.
I think we do
Open seats.
put it up on the marquee about the
I do
election.
too, I think we do.
I know we could put voting the day of the election, but yeah, we can certainly.
All right,
Pulling out all the stops.
there you
How
go.
much money do we have in the budget for it?
0. We're in
Now,
a
I'm gonna say,
deficit.
now let's not
We
get
have 0.
crazy, because we do have a
The
budget.
City of Sioux Falls switched their official newspaper from the Argus to the Dakota.
Go to Scout.
Yes.
Well, and I think I know that's not on the docket, but I think there's further conversation with, I'm not saying get rid of the Messenger, but the Dakota Scout is a great publication, it's free, there's articles all over town. I did want to talk, what's that?
It's not
Do they,
Yeah, it is, the Dakota Scout is
the
free.
print copies?
The print copies are absolutely free and they're all over,
Cindy's paying for it.
Somebody's paying for print copies.
well, the advertisers,
We
no,
can
the
look in-
advertisers are, the people advertising, but the print copies are free, but yes, you can get the paid app, but the publication stuff is free.
I get it.
All right.
sent by you.
Excellent.
There we go.
Anything else, Karen?
Nope, that was it.
All right, let's move on to Teresa's report.
Okay, you've got the project updates from ISG. As far as the rest of the items in my report, I don't have anything that has changed. I gave you a little update of what I know on the transit bus that we were supposed to receive this year that we budgeted for. It is still out for production, so maybe we'll get it 2025, since we didn't get it in 2024.
So did
They can give me no time frame.
So we just moved the budget money from,
We'll just have to, like I said, supplement our budget, because we didn't expense that money, obviously we didn't pay it out, so I mean, it's in reserves, but we'll just have to change our budget for, instead of 2024 to 2025 for it. So, yeah, I can't give you any more of an update of that. Chamber position, we are advertising for it now. We did receive one application this week, so we have one. We are gonna hold it open to the end of the month and then see where we're at that time, if we need to advertise more or not. And then I do have in there, Craig and I will be meeting with some members from ISG to have an initial meeting on our master park plan. I have in there that we were gonna meet this Thursday. I had a conflict, so we're gonna meet this Friday morning. So we're still gonna meet this week and we will get going on it. There will be future meetings that I'm sure, we've talked about wanting council participation, member to the Park and Rec Board and the Planning and Zoning, so, that's all the process, and we'll work through it with them. Otherwise, I don't have any additional updates for you, unless you have questions for me.
I see we received our party status for the,
Yes,
from the PUC for the pipeline.
yep, we sent in the paperwork, and then at the last PUC meeting, they did grant us party status, so we are getting, Tom's getting notices, and I'm getting copies too,
Okay.
what's going on.
A question on maybe, I don't know if it's, the rocks and the transit bus, that process, the personnel, we still feel like that adequately serves the community. We're not to a size yet where we need to try and take that in-house. there's obviously some advantages to working with them.
Yeah, so we, you've been here long enough, you know that we've been on with Rocks, they completely manage the system, so they hire the drivers, they deal with payroll and, they'll set the hours, the maintenance, everything, we don't pay any bills, all we do is pay them an administration fee, basically, a year, and that's $7,500, I wanna say, something like that. Yeah. So we just pay that administration fee, like I said, they do maintenance on the bus, they.
They buy a new bus every few years.
Yep, exactly, so, if we were to take it in-house, then we would probably have more than that in expenses, and probably just with a driver, but,
We could also set our,
but we can also,
what we
then we
charge.
can run it how we wanna run
Yeah.
it, and set our hours and whatnot as well,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, okay.
there's probably pros and cons to it, it just, maybe something you guys wanna think about, but.
Sure, all right,
that's
thank
where
you.
we're at right now.
I had a citizen tell me today that she thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Perfect.
She loves it. She says the driver is great.
I think they do
Yeah,
have a pretty
so,
decent driver, and
yeah,
I've
I
heard
think-
compliments on the
yeah, I think we're
driver
doing-
that's here.
I think we're doing something
I don't
right.
know how large of a ridership they have, I don't think we have a lot of, a big quantity using it, but those that do use it really appreciate it, and it is a good service for them, so I would hate to see it go away.
How is that promoted? How do our citizens, become aware of it and how to use it?
So we put it out, on our website, flyers. I think Rocks does a little advertising as well. I'm not really sure what all media they use, like I say,
Is there information at the senior center?
I believe so.
I think there is. I think
they've got advertising.
because we got flyers, they
Yeah.
flyers at different places and businesses in town, that say, have the number to call and what the hours they run, and, because we got one here.
Okay, in the newsletter to once or twice a year do did you know?
Hit that, yeah.
I think we do, once, but we can,
Feel like I
we can
read
put
it,
more.
but-
Yep.
All right.
Great idea, Cindy. Great idea.
Yeah, great ideas. All right, let's move on to old business. We are going to review Ordinance 739, which is our changes in fines and fees, which is great topic.
We looked at this at our last meeting. We took no action on it. Staff has looked through it. We have some suggested changes. It does not mean that you have to go with those changes. It's for your discussion and review. But we did state that we would look at our fines and fees ordinance annually. So this is the time of year that we look at it. So whether you implement any changes or that's up to council's decision.
So I want to go back. Last meeting, Tim Graham and Stacy Keetle were here from Planning and Zoning because of conversation they'd had regarding code enforcement on the pet license deal. I want to go back to that. Rather than increase, how do we get more people to license their pet? We know there's
Very good
like
question. We've
4,000
I've
dogs,
been with the city
and we have
about that.
100 and some of them licensed. Or maybe.
300.
300, excuse me, I had my numbers
Yeah,
wrong,
that'd be
sorry.
different.
But there's 4,000 dogs and we have 300 licensed.
Yep, when I kind of put
Maybe
out.
not 4,000.
I did an email out to different cities, and when I had emailed them to see, what they do if they require pet licenses, and they all do, every city does. But they all also came back with that comment, it's hard to get them licensed because they have just a small fraction as well. I think we're not the only city that struggles with that.
And I know you have it in there to increase it. I'm fearful if we increase it, our number's gonna go down.
Well, that's right. I mean, you're going from right now $5.
And we can't get anybody to do it now. If we go to 15,
That's what is that, 300% increase? I mean, I'm gonna hit on this, I'm gonna reserve my comments, because you know what I'm gonna comment on, so I'll let you guys figure out
yeah,
this part.
you hold your horses for a second.
Hold your cart.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, in
I
my,
think, I think
here he's gonna hold his horses and here he
You know what?
goes.
All his comments, till I don't.
This is one of those things, so we've got all these dogs unlicensed, some are licensed, I mean, you know, we can't be the Gestapo knocking on people's doors, right, and seeing who they have dogs, and
They
quite
all have
frankly,
dogs.
right, I
Having
mean,
gone door to door for my
quite-
petition,
and quite
usually
frankly,
2.
you know, this is like number 1,000 on my list in terms of what is important. And, you know, if, you know, I could care less if people have animals, and I really could care less if I know if they have animals. It's my opinion. It's none of my damn business if they have a dog in their house and I don't know about it. I'm gonna, you know.
Okay.
So the fees help the city recoup expenses that we incur when we get an animal in and we have to pay.
No, that should be incurred on the pet owner.
But if
There
the
is
Sioux
one.
Falls Humane Society comes, we can't pass that fee along to them.
No, because we're, as you know, they've changed their contract.
Right.
We're paying a flat rate now for calls when they come out here, and it's higher, yeah.
But we can't charge that back against the
we-
citizen?
Yeah,
Not
we
the
did
flat rate
research.
contract rate, we can't.
Why not?
Now, we can if they would have to vaccinate them, or, you know, have, if they would, have to, what am I trying to think of? House them, yeah, there you go.
Can we implement,
Boredom, that's the word.
can we
Implement a fine.
implement a flat rate fine for an animal, like in our ordinance? Can we put it in here, if your animal gets picked up by the Humane Society, there's gonna be a
Yes,
fine
sir,
of
we can
whatever
implement
that
that.
charge is?
Or anybody.
I would rather do that than charge a pet licensing fee on the front end. I'd rather actually take the charge to the person that's responsible for creating the expense for the city.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's common
That's
sense. I
something we
mean,
can look at, yeah.
I think that right there is exactly, is,
So.
you go ahead, Mayor.
Okay, so if we raise this and less people come and license their pet, the concern that Stacy and Tim hit us on was how much money we're spending on spinning our wheels, sending letters and doing all this stuff. So if we raise it, less people do it, we still send the letters, we're not gonna gain, really, we're not gonna gain. My question is, to the council maybe, this is our one chance to find out if they have been vaccinated for rabies, correct?
Correct.
That is
We
our,
have no
this
idea.
is our one chance, so we at least know 300 dogs have been vaccinated out of 4,000. Or whatever the number
I think
is.
it's prudent to have the requirement in the city, because if we say we don't care, we're not gonna
Yeah.
have a license, I don't think that sets the right expectation. I would be in favor, even, and I missed the fun meeting last week, I think, on this topic, but, or last meeting, maybe we could moderate some of these changes that are like 100 and 200%. Some of them, we said, let's, you know, it looks like we added $5 on, but a couple of them, like the pet and the golf cart, we hit quite a bit harder, and I think everything goes up. I think we need to, obviously, we have to look at them every year.
Or what if we left the pet licensing the same and then instituted a fine for an at-large animal?
I think that's a great idea. I said,
I
going back.
doubt $5 covers the sticker and the time it takes to sign them up.
No, but if, yeah, but if we
I
can
mean, that's what I'm
implement a
saying,
fine.
maybe
Right.
a
I
10
mean-
and a 15, but.
So what do you think? Somebody wanna,
Well, I want.
or do we wanna cover them all and
Well, I
then
think,
do?
I think we should cover these all. I mean, I'm passionate about this golf cart one.
Can we start
And-
at the top?
Okay, let's see, thank you for putting some order in this thing. So.
And like I said, and some of these are
Wait,
just
I'm supposed to
suggestions,
do
if there's
that.
other things
But you
you wanna
don't
look
listen to
at,
me,
that's up to you guys.
John.
Like, okay, so the first one is the lake
I'm gonna
water
gavel him
sewer.
pretty soon.
Can we back that down to a $25 instead of jumping to 30?
Which one are you talking?
All
You're
right, the
Water
first
sewer.
one, the water sewer will be delinquent after the 15th day of each month. Right now, it's 20, the charge that is recommended by the city staff is 30.
And you're saying 20, go to 25. You okay with that? Keeping notes?
Keep notes,
I-
and response.
I'm gonna throw in a curveball. We just added a second surcharge.
Right?
I would be in favor of keeping that at 20. You know, that second surcharge is a big deal for some
Yep.
people, totally understanding of that. So, but I also understand that if that bill's not paid on time, right, the city takes on that additional expense. So, am I fine with 25? Sure. Would I like to keep that the same at 20, just in the context of everything going on? I would be more in favor of a 20, but I could submit at 25.
Just so everybody knows, when I didn't get my water bill in the mail, I had to pay the $20.
Same.
I just
I
want
paid
you all to know
electronically,
that.
and I don't know, it ends up getting mailed, and sometimes it takes forever to get here.
Somebody got mine and they said, oh, I got the mayor's water bill, and they, in their shredder. Yeah, okay.
$30 is probably 30% of my monthly water bill. It seems like a pretty high charge. I'd be more comfortable with 20 personally, but.
I actually
I don't
agree
know
with
how much
Sean's
money
logic
we're
on
taking on
20,
this, but-
leaving it at 20.
I'm okay with 20.
Okay, pet licenses, what do you want to do?
Can we go to 10 and 15?
10, 15, and then institute a,
Institute a
about
fine for,
Yes, I would love to have that on the next council meeting, to
Okay.
discuss some sort of fine if your dog is running loose.
We do
Okay.
have that
And they're
in there.
unlicensed?
We do have that.
That's what we're trying to do.
Four,
is get people
four line
licensed.
items down or 5 down is,
well,
it's
would
in
it be a
there.
lesser
Okay.
of a fine if they had a license than if they didn't?
There's-
Oh, we
it
do
says
have it
that,
down
yeah,
here.
it says there, no collar with rabies tags is a certain amount, and running
Oh,
at
yeah,
large
we
is a
have it.
certain amount.
Yes, we have fines in place for animal offenses.
I guess this fine is specific, okay, yeah, we're not quite there
Okay.
yet, but.
okay. So 10 and 15,
Yeah.
okay? Contractor license, going from 100 to 150 for a 3-year license.
This has not been changed since I've been with the city. This has been the same since
Holy
2006, so. We don't require contractors to do any kind of
Testing.
tests, so we don't charge any fees with
Right.
that like Sioux Falls does or whatnot. This is the only thing they have to pay for a 3-year license, and $50 a year probably is not out of line.
I'd say we'd leave
But what's the
that.
point of it, though? I mean, I get the cost, but what's the
So,
point of that?
with their contractor's license, they have to give the city, they have to prove that they're insured and bonded. So
Okay.
basically, it's helping basically, the citizens, the people that hire them, that they have a reputable contractor in place. Because, like I said, it makes sure they have insurance and bonding, because they have to provide that with their licensing, so.
All right,
And then they should know the rules.
Right,
They
and
should know
then
when
they
they
sign
need to
off,
get a
they
building
know the
Building permit,
IBC codes.
flat work
and-
permit.
yep.
Flat work permit, a placement permit, they
Yep,
should know all that
yep,
stuff.
exactly. They sign a statement that, yep,
good point.
they are following all the rules and regulations.
So wait a minute, can we go back up to this animals thing?
Absolutely.
So there is a fee here for running at large of $50.
Right.
Does that get, I mean, are we charging people that when they get picked up? Okay, so
Yep.
what would an appropriate fee be to cover the fee for the Humane Society to come pick up that animal?
Significantly more than that.
I gotta say, well, we're getting, was it, our contract's going to $450 a month, flat rate to us?
Oh, so it's $450 a month flat rate.
Right.
So we don't know what it is, yeah, they're,
Yeah, so it
We don't
depends
know
on
how
the
many-
Once or 20
calls.
times.
Exactly, are they
Correct.
out here once, or are they 10 times, or that month?
so, if they get a dog running at large and nobody claims that dog, so they bring that dog to the Humane Society, they house that dog, they feed the dog, they take the dog for a walk, let's say that dog's in there for 3 days, and finally somebody from Hartford says, hey, that's my dog. So the Humane Society has accumulated, these costs, and I wanna make sure I understand this, so let's say they accumulated these costs housing this dog, right? Then does the Humane Society bill us in addition to the $450 flat rate to do all those things?
Oh, yeah. That's no
Okay,
problem.
so what mechanism do we have to recoup that cost from the irresponsible homeowner?
Well, and, we talked about, can we recoup those? And I did talk to Tom about that, and we can pass on, the fees that we get charged, if we know who it is, that's the deal. If we can find out who the owner is, we can pass on those charges to them.
So when that dog is claimed, does the Humane Society alert? Do they contact you and say, hey, they came and picked this dog up, you're gonna wanna,
Not beforehand.
Okay.
But we could,
But as it
definitely
is
needs,
right
there's a little
now,
work that needs to be done there.
I know we're changing to a flat rate per
Yeah.
month, but how they're doing it now is it's per call.
Yeah.
And on the incident report, they have every call listed, and if they impound a dog, like if it's running at large,
Right.
and there's boarding fees, then when, there's another area down here where they credit us back, when that owner picks that dog up, they pay those impound fees.
The owner
and
Oh, they
take it.
do.
Oh, the owner
Before they
pays
get the dog, they have to
Before
pay
they get the
those.
dog.
There we
So
go.
the pound,
Okay.
But now,
Okay,
but
so-
that's,
changing,
but
yeah.
this whole flat fee thing, I'm not sure how.
Okay, it's current
Well,
policy.
reading the contract, we're just getting that flat fee, yeah.
We should probably do a little research
Yeah,
before we
I
change
think
that.
time will tell on
but
this.
when I look at this, if they're not licensed, they don't have a collar, and they're at large, that's $150 immediately. They should be getting all three of those, right?
Okay, I'm happy.
Just curious, it's only dogs this applies to, not cats?
Oh, yeah, dogs and cats.
And
They're the
cats.
two animals that have to be listed, dogs and
Just
cats.
like catching.
Can't have a cat running at large
The
either.
feral cat population in town is
Oh, it's crazy.
It's awful.
It's
it's always
crazy.
setting my security cameras off.
Yes,
So my question to what Cindy just had,
yeah.
okay, we have a dog running, non-licensed, without rabies tag,
Yep.
at large, $350 fines.
Yes.
So how do we as a city know that Sean's dog was running loose and he's got those 3 fines coming? Who writes that ticket?
So usually it'd be Humane Society if they pick it up, and then Sean goes Humane Society, then we know who it
Do
is.
they-
Or if a sheriff picks it up and it comes back in our kennel here,
Okay,
We know
my
it's right
question
there, Mark.
is, who writes the fine?
Right.
oh, we do it through our code enforcer.
I've never seen the code enforcer report have dog with no rabies tag on a code enforcer report. We get that at planning and zoning every month.
And a lot of them, if they're not licensed and not tagged, they don't have them, yeah.
I guess where I'm going here is, are we actually writing tickets for this?
Well, it sounds like there's a.
Or is this like dog tags, if they don't get a dog license, we don't go after them for dog licenses either?
Yeah, I think he's asking what's the mechanism then? So does Kyle ever even find out about it?
Yeah, does the Humane Society go?
Communicate.
Do they go to their big book of municipal fines and go, oh, you're a Hartford resident,
You
so
need
now
to
you
pay
need this one?
right.
You need this one, you need
Well, I
this one.
think
Oh, yeah,
Humane
then,
Society-
Right.
by the way, we need to write a
So
check
that-
to
right.
I
the
think
city
we
of
should
Hartford.
have an offline, maybe little, like,
Yeah, we should
how is
probably
that
have a little,
supposed to get?
Right, communicate it
Assigned.
to us.
Discussion to
If the
that.
if the city's contracting with them to come and pick up a dog at large,
Yes.
so I pick up the phone and I call Metro and say, there's this dog running around my yard. Metro sends animal control out. They don't send the deputy over to go find the dog.
Right, right.
They send animal control out.
Yeah.
And the city knows nothing about that dog at large. So I'm guessing there's a whole bunch of people that get their dogs back and never even get the same fine that you're talking about right here.
Right.
Right. We do get incident reports. The Humane Society, every
But
dog
who's
they
writing,
pick up.
who's writing the ticket?
All right,
Yeah, when
let's
the
move
report
on.
comes in, then
Let's
Jenny
move on.
checks, see if the dog's
Let's
licensed.
figure this out, as Cindy mentioned, offline.
Yeah.
Let's address the ones that we are
Yeah,
confident. we know
let's stay
already.
on agenda,
Let's-
okay,
let's
let's stay
move
on
on.
agenda.
I think we're down to the golf cart
Well, we were at
Oh.
placement fees.
Contract.
I thought we went by those.
Contractor license, we said we were okay with 150. Placement permit fees for fences or sheds, and flat work permits.
If Teresa can't remember the last time we increased him, I think at least a $5 increase is in order.
I think the $20 was implemented when we first started charging to get a placement permit, and that's been probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And we haven't changed it since we've initially put it in place.
I'm good with 25.
The bigger issue there is, do they come and get them?
We do, I mean.
We watch for
We
something.
watch
Yeah.
for if a fence is going up or a shed, so if they try to not get one, we follow up on them.
What if you're
So I think
replacing-
those we do get.
What if you're replacing a fence?
If it's going in the exact same spot, you know, following the same guidelines, you don't need one, but if you're moving it, putting up in another section, you do.
Okay, let's get to the golf cart one.
I'd like to see that be 25. It's currently 20. I'd like to see it move to $25.
Jake.
My point on that, the suggestion was maybe moving it to $50. It doesn't cost me that to register my vehicle for the year. So I don't think we should have a charge over what it costs to drive a car on the road for a year.
Yeah.
So $25 seems a little bit more reasonable.
And it's minimal labor for the city. I registered my golf cart for 2 years, because I've had it for 2 summers. It's a 2-minute process, where when I was doing a fence, I was with Kyle quite a bit, you know, making sure I was doing everything right. So there's a lot more. I would be in favor, much more in favor, because I was pretty passionate about this the last time. I thought that was a ridiculous, hey,
Tell us how you really feel.
I thought it was a ridiculous
Okay.
increase.
There you go.
So I'd be in favor of
25?
I will submit at 25.
Good. Okay.
Hopefully the rest of the council is on board with that. I think that's reasonable.
I don't have a golf cart, so I don't have a,
Those are uptown problems.
I don't have one either, for the record.
okay. Everybody else here, I bet, has one. Okay, locate property pins, 25. That seems,
Is that enough?
Depends if they can find the pins or not.
Right.
Depends on how time consuming it is.
I mean, that was the one where I'm like,
When I go out, usually I'm the one that goes and finds them, and if they're against, like where transformer
Yep.
is, I don't spend a lot of time. Because the half the time they're missing, the ones I find them, and I don't spend hours looking for them, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I spend enough quality time to try to find them, give them my best effort, and I leave. Because there's a lot of them out there that are not there.
what is the statement?
not
update?
paid. Yeah, what is that?
Anything?
Like your water bill or?
So this is
Yeah.
invoices that
This would
Karen-
be any invoices I sent, like
No.
a
Meter.
contractor for a meter, or anything that is not a water and sewer bill. That's the other late fee. This would be anything else that is billed from me.
bill for
Are you all right with that, or do you want to drop it down to 25? What do you want to do?
If we wanted to stay consistent
Yeah.
with the other one, do you just want to keep it the same?
Keep it at
All our
20?
late charges are 20 then?
Let's keep it at 20.
I would be fine with,
It would just promote
Simpler.
consistency.
Okay, so are we at a point where we can approve this and further discuss the dog?
What I'll do is I'll actually put this in an ordinance form then, and put it
Okay.
on the next agenda.
okay.
Gotcha.
With the
Okay.
changes that we just talked about. It has to be an ordinance, it'll go through that, so we'll have it on the next agenda. And then we can talk further about the.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for their comments. All right, let's move to new business. Review, approve, pay application number 7 for Alliance Construction for $51,788.78. This is on the 12th and Oaks project. And is this, in fact, the final bill?
No, because we're still holding retaining as
For
well, because
the
there's some
plant
seating, to
and
make
the-
sure the seating comes
Gotcha.
up, there's some
Punch
additional
list items,
seating,
yeah.
punch list items,
Okay.
so we are still holding retainage that won't be paid
Gotcha.
out until the spring, so
Okay.
this is basically for work up till this point.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Make a motion to approve pay request number 7 to Alliance Construction for $51,788.78.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just got a quick question, just,
Yep.
this is not a, this is not a change order or anything, obviously, it's listed, so this
No,
is
this
money,
is-
this is agreed upon, we agreed upon this when they
This is
started
part
the
of their
project?
contract, yep.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barron? Jazz?
Yes.
Okay, next up is review, approve commitment letter for the Minnehaha Lincoln County pre-mitigation plan update. This is something we need to do to make sure that we can get FEMA funding. We have to be part of the mitigation plan for Lincoln and Minnehaha County. Teresa is our designated representative. We've done this in the past.
Motion to approve commitment letter for the Minnehaha and Lincoln County pre-mitigation plan update as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barron's?
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
All right, next up, review approved contracts with ELO CPA and Associates. This is for, there's two separate for our 2024 annual report and for our 2024 audit.
Motion to approve engagement letter for our 2024 annual report.
Second.
Any discussion?
None other than I would like to see us look after.
We don't have our project, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep, that's kind of what we talked about at the last meeting.
Anything else? Hearing nothing else, we'll vote. Mattson.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
All right, next one is the audit, and this one changed substantially this year.
This is significantly higher. It basically all revolves around, we have to have a more intense audit done because of all the grant money and the federal funding that we receive for the wastewater treatment facility. It's a different kind of audit. It's more intense, more time consuming, so that is why it is at a higher price. And this is required by the federal government for receiving those monies.
Make a motion to approve the engagement letter for the 2024 audit.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
All right, next up, professional service contracts for 2025 for ISG as our city engineer and for Freeburg, Nelson, and Ask for our city attorney.
No.
Separate approvals or combined?
Now, let's do them separate, that'd be
Yeah,
more,
let's do them separate.
I make a motion to approve professional server contract for ISG for 2025. Second.
and if I recall, this is the first increase since you guys have been our,
It is.
Right.
Yep.
any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
Forgot for a second. Okay.
Motion to approve our attorney agreement for legal services. Oh,
Second.
yeah.
And a second? And again, this one hasn't raised for a while.
3 or 4
I think
years,
3 years for sure, yeah. It's been a while.
Good job.
All right.
Yep.
Any other discussion? None? We'll vote. Jazz.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
All right, next up, review, approve, request for proposals for operation of the concession stand at Swenson Park. Teresa's put together the information, oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Park and Recreation Board looked at this at their last meeting, didn't have any changes to what they would like to go out with it. This would be seeking proposals to have someone come and operate our concession stand out at Swenson Park.
Motion to approve the request for proposals for operation of concession stand at Swenson Park.
Second.
Any discussion?
So I see we have the liability requirement for insurance to individuals, and then it says property damages. Is it clear that if they damage the building otherwise, or that they're responsible for those repairs? Is that part of the, just the way the property damages with the city of Hartford, it's official, I didn't, and maybe it's the summary that I'm not clear on.
So basically, they would need to, and I took this off, kind of took it off of other cities' proposals, took it off there. But basically, yeah, they have to cover $1 million for any property damage and
So-
name the city as an extra insurer on that, so we can make sure that.
Any
yeah.
property within.
Right, yep. So they also have liability per person and property damage.
All right, anything else? Good question. Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
All right, next up, We're gonna discuss our annual 2% water sewer increase.
It's currently an ordinance, right?
It's currently an ordinance. The council, though, by resolution or by motion, could waive that for a year if they want to. That's up to your discretion. But in ordinance, and what we've been doing for the last several years is doing an annual 2% increase in the water and in the sewer. Water, we've been doing it for quite a few years. Sewer, we implemented back in 2010, 11, I believe. I think that 2% increase has really basically helped, build up some reserve fund in those accounts. So when we do have projects, unless it was something super large like this wastewater, we've been able to cover them without a surcharge, It's helped keep our rates up there that, like I said, till we've done this wastewater treatment facility, we have not had to implement any kind of surcharge within the city at all, which several cities, even when they're doing just some piping projects or whatnot, they have to do a surcharge, which we have not had to do. So I think it's been prudent to do these little increases to be able to help cover some of those other projects that we've been doing over the years and not have to do a surcharge.
What is the, okay, so it's a water sewer surcharge increase.
No, this is just on their base rate.
It's there.
It's,
Maybe explain this to me
It's
like
a
I'm
rate
5.
increase.
Okay, because like I know we buy water, right, from
yep,
Minnehaha.
Which
or-
goes up every year as well.
So we buy that water, right?
Yep,
yep.
we have to
In
pay
bulk.
for all the water.
We buy that
get.
water in bulk. We sell that water, or we essentially, so let's, I'm kind of curious, so is this,
Well, we pay for it by the gallon, right?
we
Yep,
pay
yep,
for it by
exactly.
the
We pay for
gallon?
And we buy it by the
So-
gallon, we
so
sell it
whatever-
by the gallon. Isn't like we buy 1 million gallons and then sell
Right.
850.
Right,
So like,
so
on this one,
everything
they
that
can
the
post it online.
citizens are using, we're
That was
buying
the
from
previous,
rural water, yeah.
It's a pass-through
President,
expense
so
with
that's how much he
the
gets.
fixed markup.
So it's the
There is,
per
yeah, exactly.
usage.
On the
Market.
usage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just did the math real quick. So currently, 485 a gallon, or per 1,000 gallons, would be an increase of 10 cents per 1,000 gallons on the roughly 9.7 cents on the water, and then on the sewer, it is a 13-cent increase, 12.7 cents per 1,000 gallons.
So you're talking 20 cents,
23 cents.
a month
22.5 cents per 1,000
Per
gallons.
1,000.
per 1,000 gallons.
Yeah, that all
Per,
depending
not
how
per
much
month,
else you
per
use.
1,000
Probably
gallons.
5,000 or 6,000.
You should never really see this, Sean, you don't have any girls at home at the time.
I do, I have,
Showering.
I
But
have.
I mean, not our showering, yeah.
Oh, my son spends a lot of time in there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's true too, I guess.
It's because it's 3 showers a day instead of one really long.
Well, when this first came up, when Teresa asked me, my initial reaction was, if there was ever a year we were gonna say no, this would be the year. But I wanted the council to have the discussion on it, because I don't,
Well, the problem is we set our budget counting on that $60,000 worth of revenue.
Yeah,
We did,
yeah, we're kind of,
and we know that Minnehaha Rural took a pretty
We
good
put
jump,
an
and who
increase
knows
in
what
this
they're
year,
gonna
too.
continue to do.
it's just.
I
Pay me now or pay
completely
me later.
agree with you, Mr. Mayor, but I also see Cindy's side of, it'd be nice to have this discussion prior to budget time.
Okay, we can still, we
I
don't,
mean-
just because we have money budgeted doesn't mean we have to spend it,
Right.
so.
Well,
We'll spend money we don't have budgeted already, though. There'll be things that,
At some point, you have to catch, I mean, it's almost like our mill levy, right? Like, if we drop that too much, then it takes a lot longer to catch
Catch
back
up.
up.
Exactly.
This is
You're
the same
stuck.
concept in reverse. We need to stay ahead of it, or if we don't, then we'll have to either increase it by more than 2%
quite possibly, yeah.
and suffer the repercussions of that, or deficit spend, which we don't have a lot of that because we've already done a significant amount of that.
Which we don't like to do.
Right.
All right? action from the council.
Do we have to vote on this?
Discussion
It's
on
already
this.
on
You
ordinance.
also just think of that 2% is basically maintenance fees and stuff
There you
like that, that for any maintenance with water, sewer. It's not, has anything to do with building a plant, it's just for annual maintenance and stuff like that.
We know those costs keep going up and whatnot.
Yeah, we don't have to vote on this. It's
Like I say, if you
automatic.
don't wanna do any changes, to leave it in place, no
Don't do
vote
anything.
whatsoever.
The only reason we
vote is
had
if you
to
wanna change.
have it on here is because
Have the discussion.
I wanted to have the discussion.
So what are your thoughts then, Mayor?
I must have a different version.
Aaron's got a different version than me.
Oh, no, you're on a different one, you're on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I just got ahead of us.
Yeah. All right, so we don't want to make any change?
I've got a quick question. I
Yep.
know this, from an accounting side, this could be a nightmare to track this, so do we ever see how much we collect in a full year from this? And then do we actually see our input cost of how much, so let's say we collect, what's it, 60 grand a year? Just out of curiosity, do we actually, can we actually see that, okay, that's 60 grand a year, do we see how much we're taking out of that for the maintenance costs? Is it,
It's in the budget, kind of.
I know it's in the budget, but I'm curious on.
You
yeah,
got
well,
so
I-
much
yeah.
for
Well, we
revenues,
will be-
and then so much for, expenses, maintenance, I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at it that way. I don't know how, if you could track that 2%,
Yeah,
I don't know
that-
how to
that-
break
that
that
input.
down, because, we can't, I don't know how we could track that.
Right, yeah.
Just go by what we.
It's because we don't even know how many gallons.
You have to look at your
We can go by
changing
total for the
expenses.
year, what the beginning meter is and the end, at the end is, and then that would be your 2% increase on that.
Yeah, I
gallon.
suppose we could do it that way.
That'd be about-
I mean, we could figure out 2%, but then,
Hmm.
I don't know what portion that 2% is paying for. I mean, we're figuring
Right,
total
because, I
revenue
mean,
is
like
paying.
in theory, it sounds like a great idea, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but I want to kind of get the council's gears turning a little bit. It sounds like a great idea in the context that, hey, this is, this money is strictly used, because this goes into this water fund, so it has to be used
Right,
specifically
we cannot use
Right.
it for anything
for
else.
certain things, and it sounds great that it supposedly is covering our costs, but we don't actually know what our input costs really are.
Well, we know what
Because
all
we
our
don't limit
expenses
how
are.
much water our residents
You
use.
know, after the end of the
Our
year.
rural water went up.
Depending on when that water contract
Yeah,
comes
our
out, Minnehaha County,
rural
you
water
never
went
know.
up more than
That's true.
2% this year.
What's
This
that?
year was 6%, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
What's
Rural
that?
water went up 6% this year, that
So
we're
paying
buying
6%
from.
more.
Yeah, but what are we charging on the back end, just for the water? So if we buy, like, what are we spending, like, what do we buy water at 1,000 gallons? What's our cost?
I'd have to look that up for sure. I mean, there is a margin in there.
Yeah, so we've got a margin in there. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit, that, so if we buy water at $2.50 per 1,000 gallons, we charge the citizens 100% increase, let's say, which would be $5 per 1,000 gallons, in addition to a 2% increase year after year, right? So,
Just want to look like last year, what was our revenue at the end of the year and what was the expense? Because you can only use money out of the water fund for
Yeah,
water.
that
Water
money
and
goes no
Exactly.
place else. Yeah,
Right.
we gotta
So
keep that
were we-
enterprise fund separate.
Did we lose? Did we have higher expenses than revenue last year?
Well, and you can tell that by what's in our reserves,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna make a
But that
motion.
reserve money is what we help pay for projects, so.
Travis is like, I'm gonna make a motion, and I'll make a little bit of a case for it. Obviously, every household has increased costs with the facility. There's no secret on that. I would make a motion that we would withhold the 2% increase for 1 year, for the water sewer increase for 2025. So did I articulate that enough for the notes?
This, I need a second.
Must not have argued good enough for that.
I think I would have to, in order to post a second, which I'm not necessarily against, but in order to put a second on the table, I would have to know more about what that does to our margin with the 6% increase coming in. I'm not comfortable with it. Is there a way that we can table this and look at some more numbers?
We'll put it on the next agenda if you want, so make a motion.
So then are not seconding.
I'm not second.
We kind of beat this thing around. 2% on a $350 water bill is $7. And that's in the peak of summer, right? And so, yes, while it's, it's prudent to not,
Empty water bill.
be frivolous with our increases or our spending, this to me is it just makes good sense.
Most people don't water their lawn as much as you do travel.
All right.
Mayor, maybe for what it's worth too, just from my perspective, Craig hit on it pretty good, but just to elaborate a little bit, I think the city of Hartford has done a really good job with.
Looks like it's no discussion.
Oh, yeah, what's that? We have no second, so
I was just saying the city has done.
that motion dies. Okay,
really
now
good
we can
job
let him.
On
Okay.
their fees to take care of those capital improvement costs versus going the surcharge route. So I think that's something the city should be really proud of, 6-month
Right.
project, there was a lot of water sewer in there. A lot of other communities that would go through the SRF program and add a surcharge on for the next 30 years.
But I don't disagree, because you heard my comment at the beginning. I don't disagree that we should take a look at this and just see, maybe have a little more discussion.
Yep.
But for right now, we're gonna let it stand.
Okay.
Right? Okay? We're gonna move on to the next one, is discussion only on our open liquor license. That's a good transition from water to
Water of life.
water to water.
Watering hole.
Running hole.
So as you guys all know, we had an open liquor license. I can't think of her name. Kristen from the steakhouse had, when we opened it up for proposals, had made a proposal and paid the city a fund or a fee to hold that liquor license for her for 22,
For
3.
1 year, and we actually held.
We
it for
actually
2
extended
years.
it and let her hold it for another year. That time frame is passed, it's back open. So the question why this is on the agenda, is this something we want to advertise, hold on to it? What do we want to do?
Well, it doesn't do us any good to hold on to it. I remember those conversations from a year ago. I thought we should have advertised it for a year ago, but I think we absolutely have to advertise this. They've held on to it for 3 years, haven't done anything with it. And I think it would be very wise to advertise it and give it to the highest bidder and let somebody hopefully build a successful business.
What's a typical going rate for that license?
That one was paid, they paid $10,000 for it and didn't use it.
To hold, yeah.
I do want to point out, I had my report that we won't be eligible for another liquor license till we get 5,000 population.
Right.
Karen, double check that, it's actually 4,000, so we're
Oh.
closer.
Oh,
than
we're
what we-
close.
We're closer than what we,
That's a goal, right
What's
there.
the,
yeah.
what's the normal liquor license fee
That
if we
is a
just
goal.
open it up? And then the first person that comes in and says, hey, I want to open a business
So-
in town. that
So the
requires
cost of
it.
the application for a liquor license is 1,200, correct?
15.
15 now? Yeah, it could be
I thought I
15, it's
remembered
the change,
15.
yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the application fee and getting a license. Now, like I said, with Kristen's, we went through the RFP, we did a request for proposals of anybody, say we have an open license, anybody interested, submit what you would pay for that, and they did pay 10,000, and we held it for 2 years for that amount.
Great discussion. Okay, moving on.
I do want to point out, and I think I put it in my report, I have had a couple inquiries of possible businesses coming into town that would be interested in a liquor license. I don't think they're ready to pull the trigger now. I don't know if they would bid on an RFP right now. But in the future, they might be good fits if it comes to fruition.
I've got a
And we
question.
may not have an open license then. If we do an RFP,
Yeah.
you know, give it out,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Is there a way, because these things are limited by the state, right? These licenses are
limited by
limited by the state.
Population or
I-
by the county or the state.
And with the state kind of handcuffing, things to an extent there, I'm not a fan of of what happened. I understand that there were some unforeseen circumstances with rise of construction costs and all that, but, you know, a business paid for it and they held on to it. I guess I'm getting all my dates, but 2 or 3 years, not being used, they're hoarding it. Do we have the ability as a city, if and when, if we decide to obviously open this up, can we put some form of requirement that you should have something like, this has to be used, I guess we review it once a year, right?
Yes, I was gonna say,
That's right, we review it after.
We
a
did,
year.
and
licenses,
we
well,
decided
they
as
all
a
come
council
up for
to extend
review.
it and let them have it for another year.
Yeah.
That was a council.
Okay, that's
decision.
right, because I
So
just,
that's
I
your
was a
don't,
council
opportunity
decision.
to pull one if you
I
want.
prefer if we do RFP to say, you know, you have 1 year to,
Period.
you have 1 year to use this, because they're limited,
RFP.
and, yeah.
Why don't we just
Yeah.
open it up on a first come, first served basis and
Highest bidder.
let somebody come in here and
You're saying first come, so the first person to come in just
first
gets
person
it?
to walk in the door that has.
I think we go for the highest
Checks
bidder.
all the boxes.
I think you go for the highest bidder.
I think we get a business in town.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
Is
oh,
that
yeah,
If
yeah.
we have an open license and we
RFP.
don't
Yeah.
do an RFP process, we
Yes,
just have
yeah.
an open license. hey,
100%.
And then we can say, hey, come do business in Hartford, we
Right.
got a liquor license, let's
Yep.
get a new restaurant in town.
Yep,
Going
Tony's
that route
water and
too,
gold.
that business, when they apply for it, could come before you and say, here, you know, present their plan or whatnot, and you guys can decide whether you wanna
Yeah.
give them the license or not,
yep.
I mean, too.
We make sure the chamber's aware of that, we make sure the HEDF is aware of that,
Right.
Yep.
as they're
Yep.
out soliciting
All right.
businesses.
We good?
like, can we set like a time frame for doing that? I mean, so we have ample time to make sure it's publicized? Or can you bring us back information about how we intend to advertise?
Yeah. Why don't we put this on with some additional information for the first meeting in February, is that all right?
That's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Last item, mayoral appointments. I have 3 appointments I'm gonna make to planning and zoning. One of the present members, Michelle Kilborn, was going to take her position again, but emailed me and said she has cancer, so that's kind of sad, so she's gonna pull her name out of, for another 2-year term. With that, I did speak with Chairman Randall today about potential people, but I would like to make appointment to Stacy Keetle, Tony Randall, and Tim Graham for 2-year terms to the Planning and Zoning Committee, or board.
Motion to approve those mayoral appointments.
Any discussion? And we will work diligently on filling the other spot.
Well, there's a few people sitting in the seats out here.
Yeah. I would like to be planning
Duncan?
and zoning guys.
Yeah.
All right, no other discussion, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
That's.
Mattson?
Yes.
As an aside, I would like you guys to, if you can come up with some ideas for a couple spots on the Park and Rec Board. I got 2 spots to fill on the Park and Rec Board also. All right, anything for exec,
Personnel.
for personnel?
Motion to move to exec for personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, looks like we got a connection.
All right, do we have any motions coming out of exec?
Yeah, motion to approve the summary increases as presented for COLA, 67 cents for full-time employees, 45 cents for part-time employees. The merit raise increase as presented, 2% for department heads, 1.75% for full-time employees, 1.5% for part-time employees, and the extra 20 cents per hour for Kyle Christensen for receiving his IBC commercial certification, and an extra 20 cents for James Olson for receiving his Class 1 certification.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
No other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Teresa, did you say you wanted to